Think outside the box, if you will. I mean, go there, go off campus. Let's think this through. And sure enough, that's where the Mustang was born. When it finally hit, it took the country by storm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cars in Context. I'm your host, John Clor. You know, this is the Motor City, and this is the show where we put cars into the context of your everyday life. We love to celebrate all the rich heritage we have here in Grosse Pointe and in Detroit, but we will make no apologies for our decidedly Detroit perspective. And Detroit perspective is exactly what's being challenged in today's show by some young millennials who are taking over the marketing for Cadillac Motor Car Company. It's really caused a furor among automotive journalists. So the guy we've picked to sort it all out is none other than Chris Sawyer of thevirtualdriver.com.
Gee, thanks.
Chris, you're back again.
Yes,
I thought after that last show I'd never see you, but thank you.
Why?
No, I don't know. But thanks for coming back.
Because I ran out here screaming?
No, it's not uncommon. We've worked together for so long. It's not uncommon for us to share some beliefs about this. But this one,
Oh, I want to.
we can't wait to get into this one because you know it is kind of attacking. Millennials aside, it's kind of attacking everything that cars stand for, which is cool cars, not images, right? Remember the rocks and trees thing?
The Infinity original commercial.
We're going to go back to that. But before we do that, Chris, you know what we have to do?
The news.
Yes, we have to find out what's happening in the news. And you know,
I read ahead.
I hate when you do that. There's always a guy that reads ahead. Anyway, the first one I have to tell you, we've talked about this before. I personally, and some other auto journalists, can't stand the alphanumeric naming system for cars. They just, you know, we used to have beautiful names, and now the luxury brands especially, they've gone into
Marquis, Town Car,
yeah,
Sabaria.
Continental. I don't remember that one, but anyway, so Cadillac, when they announced their new CT6, we said, CT, wait a minute, something must be coming. And sure enough, Cadillac sources confirmed that when their luxury brand comes out with a new flagship model, it should be by the end of the decade, it'll be called either the CT8 or the CT9. And Mercedes, which is, you know, the Germans are the worst.
Started all this,
they're the worst ones at this. They're reviving the Maybach name. I mean, so, you know, here they're the ones
yes,
that.
but they're reviving it on the S-Class. It's the S-Class Maybach.
Ironically,
so both at the same
that's
time.
right. It's on the S-Class. But at the same time they announced they're bringing back that name, they're bringing back a new naming configuration for their cars. Now, here's the way it works. SUVs will start with the GL, followed by a letter to tie it in with the sedans. Okay, so, for example, the M-Class is now the GLE to link with the E-Class, and the GL is now the GLS to link it with the S-Class. Okay, so four-door coupes will also carry the CL name, and Roadsters will start with SL. So a trunk badge will also have a lowercase letter to denote what kind of powertrain. So for example, D is for diesel, E is for electric, stay with me, Chris, and H stands for hybrid. Are you confused?
Huh? And do they have one for I? I don't know.
I don't understand.
What car is that?
Now, maybe the millennials love that stuff, you know, with Lincoln.
No, you know who loves it?
No.
The Chinese.
Oh.
They don't want names.
Yeah, because
they don't want names.
Well, I personally
can't pronounce them.
Please stop. Can't stand it. Chris, give me something happier.
No, I don't know about that.
Okay.
Okay, China's considering a $16 billion investment in electric car charging stations despite sagging sales of EVs.
No, that doesn't make any sense, Chris. Why would they want charging stations if they can't sell cars?
Well, it's nothing to do with going green.
Sure it is.
No. The Automotive Strategy Research Institute says China imports 58% of its oil today, and by 2020, that's going to be 70%.
Wow.
Yeah,
they're upside down.
We've got them over a barrel, don't we?
A barrel. I like that.
That scares China's leadership, so they have at least a century of coal, and it generates 75% of their electricity from coal. So they want electric cars that run on domestic fuels.
But they're going to be using coal.
Yes.
But that coal's bad, isn't it?
Well, if you don't put any pollution equipment on the thing, yeah.
Well, of course they don't.
Of course they don't. They're the
It costs
Chinese.
money.
But here's the funny part about it.
Yeah.
You know what you can turn coal into? Gas and diesel. Germans did it for a long time during the war.
So clever. So, well, that's
yes,
probably
I am, but
actually,
it doesn't get me anything.
If we could only figure out a way to make money from this intelligence.
Yeah.
The problem here, Chris, is let's face it. We've got.
Oh, you said intelligence. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm including you. Yes.
Yeah.
We have the same problem here in America. We've got all this coal, and the people are like, "Oh, stop coal! It's bad. It's dirty. It's nasty." You know, but we were sitting on what 100 years of that stuff.
Oh, easily.
Well, why are we? You know, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
Of course, it doesn't.
When you become president, that'll all change. Speaking of crazy things, folks.
There's a scary thought.
Yeah, you've been seeing the small van craze. I mean,
I love them.
They're all over the place. They're like these giant boxes. You're driving like a box of Townhouse crackers or something.
Yeah, the first one was the Transit Connect. It was so ugly it was cute.
Now, see,
Oh yeah, it was so ugly it was cute.
yeah, that's what they said about my first girlfriend.
Well, that's what they said about you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, but it has a nice personality. Yeah. So,
Boy, we're going to get into that, are we?
so on the heels of the success of the Transit, yes, and then of course the Nissan NV 200,
which is so ugly it's ugly.
and then the Ram is going to be coming out with this ProMaster City.
What a dumb name.
We're a ProMaster City.
Maybe they should call it the CT4. Oh, sorry.
Well, maybe they'll be professional grade, or is that somebody else?
No, somebody at
Anyway,
GMC.
so now Toyota saying, hey, wait a second. If everybody likes these really ugly vehicles, and Toyota's no stranger to ugly vehicles, they showed a concept vehicle. It's called the Urban Utility Concept, or, ready for this? U squared.
Oh, God.
I'm not kidding. I don't make this up. This is real stuff. U squared, or maybe you're square for looking at this. It was developed over in California by that Kelty studio.
Oh, Kelty, yeah.
And this boxy design, we'll show a picture of it here. This boxy design allows you can fold and remove the seats.
Oh, yeah, it's a pretty neat idea.
Yeah,
I love that.
But the difference on this, so the roof panels will retract, and you can have that tailgate that goes down and drive stuff up a ramp. It's just,
which probably will never make it to production.
I don't know. Toyota says even though it's not in production now, or they're going to gauge consumer reaction.
You know what that means?
What's that mean?
It's already done, ready to go. We're just waiting for the time to sell it.
Okay. Now tell me some good news then. So is there somewhere good news in the world somewhere?
I don't know. This has to do with the French.
Oh, ooh la la.
Oh, God. Anyway, Reuters reports
okay.
that France wants to stop using diesel fuel so that they can reduce pollution.
Are you kidding me?
No. Lawmakers want to limit the tax advantages offered for purchasing diesel-powered vehicles and boost the price of diesel fuel. They're also setting up a system that will rank cars by how much they pollute. You may expect a backlash because 80% of cars registered in France are diesels.
80%? So why Chris, you've been an advocate of diesel fuel. You're saying
I'm going to advocate for any fuel, just don't tax it or give it an advantage over the other fuels, which they did for years.
Yeah.
And now they're
Which is
going
why the
the
market's
other
80%.
direction. Exactly.
Oh,
But you know, I mean, this is from a country where people don't wear deodorant. So I don't know.
Well, they get a seat at the front door, by that way. Anyway, so speaking of crazy things, you know how the transmissions have been going? You remember back in the days when there was a 2-speed slush box, then we got a 3-speed. Oh, we got a 3-speed automatic.
then we got 4.
A 4-speed, come on. And then a 5-speed automatic, and now a 6.
5 was almost boom, and then 6.
Yeah, then what happened?
Then
well,
goes to
now
8.
then the crazy people started with the 8 and the 9s, and
There's a 10 coming.
no.
Yeah, Ford and GM.
I'll have many speeds as my old bicycle.
Yes. When was the last time you were? Never mind.
On a bicycle? Okay. Do you know that the camera adds 10 pounds, smarty pants?
There's 2 cameras. That explains 20 pounds.
I'm going to get 4 more cameras. So anyway, the automakers have been adding gears to automatic transmissions, like there's no tomorrow. But when Cadillac announced that it's going to go from the 6-speed to the 8-speed for the 15 CTS and the Escalade, they didn't mention any miles per gallon improvement. Usually when they say we're going to add this new transmission, we're going to get a 2.
Well, yeah, but there's a reason for that.
Well, I had to ask. So what is the reason? They said, well, listen, here's the problem. We don't think it'll actually make a measurable difference with the EPA rating.
No.
So we didn't announce anything. And I said, well, why then if you don't get a measurable difference, why are you putting them in there?
Because in the real world, you're going to get a bump. You won't get a huge bump, but you get a bump.
There he goes again with that in the real world, like people are in the
I
real world.
live in the real world. I don't know where John lives.
Are you talking to Jeffrey Feiger?
World.
In my America. And
No,
so in your America.
I said the real world.
Oh, okay. So anyway, a lot of people think that it was pushed by marketing.
Oh, partly.
Because, these guys have a 9-speed, we better have one too.
There's a longer term game here going on because the engines are going to continue to get smaller, smaller, smaller. I actually have talked to some engineers who are saying that by 2025, your Escalade will be about the same size it is today, but it'll have a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo powering it and an electric motor also on it. And you're going to need all those speeds to get this thing up going.
Yeah, okay. That I understand. That I get. But right now with the V8, come on.
You don't like going zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, now
No,
I've made it the corner, and then zoom, 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 zoom. Now I've made it.
Hated it. No, I don't like it. But what I do like, folks, is that now that's enough of the news, by the way. Really.
Oh, okay.
That was just horrific.
You kept asking for good news.
I've been trying. I've been looking all over the place. Now it's something fun. It's car trivia time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where we ask the viewers to put on their thinking caps and to...
Have you met our viewers?
They always ask.
They always have them on.
They
You don't
go
have
to
to put them
Google.
on.
They're Google. Right now, look, they're Googling. I haven't given you the question yet. Stop it. Yeah, we have a great question. We want them to try to think it out rather than look it up. And then we take a break. We come back and we give them the answer.
Okay.
All right, this one. Here's today's car trivia question. You're going to love this. When was lead, remember, get the lead out? Mm-hmm. When was lead first added to gasoline and who was behind that idea? I know you know why, because Chris he's very fuelish about these things. but with the question today is when.
Wow, are we in the Catskills all of a sudden?
Remember when we had leaded gas, folks? If you don't remember that, then okay, kids, you can look it up and ask Siri. But for the rest of us, when was lead added to gasoline and who was behind it? You know, we'll give the answer to that trivia question. Then we're going to put Chris in the driver's seat on today's topic about millennial marketing right after this. Hi, and welcome back to Cars in Context. I'm your host, John Clor. Today we're talking to Chris Sawyer of thevirtualdriver.com. Chris, it's always great to have you here, especially when we have car trivia time. Because, you know, you've got a pretty good track record on this trivia stuff. So either you're staying up at night reading or you need to get out more.
Or both.
So if you recall, folks, and you better because it was just a couple of seconds ago, I gave you a question that said, when was lead, remember leaded gasoline, first added into gasoline and who was behind the idea? So I hope you figured it out. Here's the answer. The answer is lead was first sold in gasoline in the United States in February of 1923.
Yep.
And it was the idea of GM engineer Thomas Midgley Jr. He discovered back in December of 1921 that by adding lead into gasoline, it kept engines from knocking and pinging, which was a huge problem back then. And it really added to the ownership experience by getting rid of knocking and pinging.
Made the fuel burn slower.
Right. So all of a sudden, we started adding lead to gas, and then what happened years and years and years later, we said, oh, by the way, that's a poison. Did you know, by the way, folks, that some of the people that helped him work with this lead additive for gasoline actually got lead poisoning and died from lead poisoning? That should have been a clue. I don't know, it's just me. I'm not a doctor.
But he was looking at but he looked at other things too. He looked at ethanol.
Oh, okay, ethanol.
The problem with ethanol is, as we've talked about many times, it brings water into the system and it's hard to get it out. But the other thing was iodine.
Iodine?
It was more expensive than lead.
Now, it was bad enough that wait, was it in their mercurochrome?
But think about it, you get a boo-boo, you stick your finger in, and you're like,
I hated iodine, because everybody knew when you got cut, the cut was bad enough, but then when your mother put iodine with that red stuff all over it, it's like this big. You had this giant blotch in your face. You
were getting hit in the face?
That's where bullying started, Mom, thanks. Mom has passed away by now, so. Anyway, that was the answer to car trivia. I hope you got it right. If not, look in next time and maybe have a chance. I doubt it. These are tough. Folks, I don't make these easy on purpose. Anyway, today, speaking of not easy, Chris, there's a problem. And the problem is,
don't start.
We love millennials because they're still living in our basement, some of them. And, we want them to do well. We've chided them. We've protected them. We've driven them to soccer practice. We've told them, and then they grow up and they want the corner office without going through all the tough stuff. And then they get into our workplace, and they're fun to work with, They say
Why
funny
don't
things.
I run this place?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and what was the question again? I was checking my Facebook page. You know, that stuff at the meetings, you love that. So, and then, you know, their tweets going out, and you said, you really have to say that? They're part of, we have to admit it, folks, they're the next generation coming up, so we have to pay attention to them, right? Well, one of them got a
No,
job.
not really.
One of them got a really high-ranking job at Cadillac, and I'm sure you guys have heard that Melody Lee is the new, what do they call her? The Director of Brand and Reputation Strategy.
Brand and reputation strategy. What does
Seriously?
that say to you?
That's
We haven't got a freaking clue.
brand and reputation strategy. Didn't you have someone like that when you were on the football team and you were dating the cheerleaders and you'd send out? No.
Hey, you don't get that.
Yeah, I got a reputation at school of dating the hottest cheerleaders. You know, what is a brand? Come on, it's just marketing manager, right? I mean, is that what it
Well,
is?
no, she's not even the marketing
Oh,
manager.
my
There's a
gosh.
marketing manager above her.
Well, Melody is singing a sweet tune here. But she's
Well, sure,
talking
she's making
about
a lot of money
Yeah,
living in
well,
New York, yeah.
folks, I hope you knew that General Motors decided to move to New York. Why? Because New York is where they'd rather stay. They get allergic smelling hay. They just adore a penthouse view. Detroit, I love you, but give me Park Avenue. They moved. Chris, I'm sorry for singing, folks, but there's no way we should have allowed Cadillac. It's like letting Lincoln move to California.
Oh, wait a minute. They've
May-
done that.
And may Bob Ruey rest in peace. But yeah, they've done that. But they moved back, didn't they?
Yes, of course they did.
Okay, so Cadillac moves to New York because they want to be hip.
Yeah, you know why?
They want to be cool.
Johan Denishen didn't want to live in Detroit.
Is that why?
Yeah, of course it is.
Well, listen, whatever
He
reason.
moved Infinity to Hong Kong, for goodness sakes.
Infinity and beyond.
No, that's
Oh,
Tim
that was
Allen.
okay. So anyway, so here's what I'm saying. So here's what Melody said. Now, help me sort this out, folks.
Oh, I'll
if you
try.
haven't read this,
You're gonna love
for
this.
people that love marketing cars, you think of all the great cars you've loved in your life. You remember that commercial and seeing it was a piece of rolling art or sculpture, or it did something, or it just looked so cool. I want to buy that car. You said to yourself, well, not the millennials. Because here is what Melody says. She says, we want to be, we meaning Cadillac, want to be a global luxury brand that happens to sell cars. We don't want to be an automotive brand. Cadillac, the standard of excellence, doesn't want to be an automotive brand. Then she also says there is nothing that exciting about an ad with a car in it. And she says, I don't buy products, I buy brands. Like Apple. She says, I don't use Apple because it's the best. I use it because it's cool. Chris, help us all solve this. What is wrong with this thinking?
We haven't got that much time.
Okay, our next show will be about what's wrong with this thinking.
No, this is the absolute insanity of people buying into all of this garbage that the millennials are different. And I brought a piece of paper with me, and there's actually writing on it, as you can see.
Wow.
Remember all the business about they don't like cars,
We done a show on it.
and
Your
then
brother, haven't we?
recently,
We've done a show.
it was they don't drive.
They don't drive, they don't like cars, they don't like the
That's Melody. They don't drive. They don't drive. They buy brands. Let me read something to you.
Okay.
Now, remember when the journalistic community is attributed with words of millennials, and those are 18 to 34s,
Right.
didn't care about cars, were driving much less than previous generations.
Right.
Here's the numbers.
Okay.
U.S. Census Department data from 1980, 90, 2000, and 2009 to 2013 shows little change in the driving habits. In 1980, 83.8% of 18 to 34-year-olds commuted to work by car or carpool. In 1990, that rises to 85.6%. 2000, it rises again to 86.7. And the latest period, it dropped to 84.5, which is still bigger than the 1980 figures, when nobody with a brain in their head thought these kids didn't want cars, didn't care, and all the rest of it. You want to know why they're not doing it?
Yeah, I do.
Well, look at it. 2009 to 2013, what happened? Gas prices went from $2.50 to over $4.
Yeah, couldn't
Now
afford it.
they're dropping again because of fracking. Thank you very much, which we've talked about.
Yes, we have.
They're going to start driving again.
Oh.
And simplistic, shallow women like Melody are going to be kicked to the side of the road by Johan Denishen if he has a brain in his head, and he does, faster than you can say, well, Melody, because this is absolute nonsense. Cadillac has gone through this before. I have personal knowledge of ad campaigns that Cadillac was doing that were on the cutting edge, that thank God never made it onto TV or into print. The one in print would have been absolutely scandalous.
Wow.
Because it was pornographic is the word that comes to mind. I mean, it was the contents of a woman's purse laid out on, like she dropped it from her Escalade and it was being lit by the puddle lamp, and the shall we say battery-powered device that was on the ground was rather interesting, and the art director thought that this was cutting edge and this was what people wanted. This is crap. This is not what people want from their cars. This is what people think of when they think of image and luxury.
Right.
What they want and what they've always wanted, and the one who told me this, and he's been right ever since, was Jerry McGovern, who's the design director for Land Rover and Range Rover, and he was the design director for Lincoln for a while. He said people want what they've always wanted. They want things that are neatly, cleanly, crisply done, that you look at it and you say, I know what that person behind the wheel is like. I know that they're a person of taste and style and substance, and this is none of that.
Yeah,
so Melody, we'll see you on the unemployment line.
So the sensationalism, like things when you get Paris Hilton to eat a cheeseburger from Carl's Jr.
Those are disgusting
Well,
commercials.
so the
Not just because it has Paris Hilton in it either.
we've all known that sex sells cars. In fact, you know.
Yes, and if Kate Upton could act, she might be something other than just something to look at.
Well,
but
I
right now
understand,
she's ruining Justin Verlander's life, at least as far as the pitching is concerned.
That's the last thing we need in Detroit. But the problem I see here is that the know-it-all attitude that you don't put cars in car commercials. Folks, let me just explain one thing to you. What Chris is trying to say in his very eloquent way is cars sell cars. You have why Apple sells is because it's a good product. You have to have a good product.
Well designed.
People
says
don't
something
want to
about
buy
you.
crap. If they did, everyone would have the Obama Chia Pet right now. That's why you want something of substance. You want a real gift, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Or the Hello Kitty Chia Pet for that.
Okay. So thank
But
you. Well, time will tell, and we're gonna
Time will tell.
yeah,
Well,
and we will be here when she's not.
And one last thing was I was talking with the marketing director for Lincoln a few years back, and she was telling me, she said, you should sit in the meetings with these millennials. They're really fun when they sit there and they're going, why am I not running this company?
Yeah, kids, we do love you, but by the way,
There's a lot of growing
it's
up
our
yet to
house.
do. Just because mom said you're great doesn't mean it's true.
That's right. Just because your mom said you can do no wrong. We love you. Anyway, so let's cheer up. That was amazing. It really was. You want to see something more amazing? We're going to show you now. It's time for Pick of the Week. And Pick of the Week is when we show you a picture that we just think is more amazing than our topic, which was pretty bad.
That's not possible.
All right, here's why this is amazing. We talk a lot about the roads in Detroit. Well, take a look at this picture, Chris. You know how people get into those highway signs and they hack them and they get to change what's, instead of merge right? Well, this one says, you ready? You'll never get to work on time. Ha ha. Look at this sign, folks. You see, this is the kind of picture we love when you send this in. Now, I don't know where this came from, so I don't know who plucked it, but thank you for sending us that picture. This is the kind of stuff we're facing all around, not just Michigan, but the United States, with all the road construction going on. And that really is an issue.
And it's going to get worse.
For you poor folks on I-96 who had to go around, you're a block away and you had to go 8 miles around. Because of that sign was just for you, but that's not all. Now it's time for one of our favorite segments. It's called Pride in My Ride.
Man, we haven't had my ride on.
I know, I can't wait till you show me Pride in Your Ride, and I'll be happy to look at it. But folks, for some reason, we're getting a lot of Pride in My Ride from our YouTube channel on Cars and Context TV, and everybody's sending in stuff that they see us on YouTube. I could challenge you, Grosse Pointers, to keep sending us your photos. And sure, there must be a car or two in Grosse Point that you have pride in. If not, get a car wash, go up to Mr. C's, clean it up, and send me a picture. Anyway, this picture comes from Jason Shembry of Livonia, Michigan. Jason's showing a picture here of him working on his 1994 Mustang notchback. Notchbacks are kind of cool. This was a 5-liter. And here he is standing in the engine compartment, actually working in there. But Jason also said that after...
There was a time you could do that in cars.
Well,
yeah.
the engine's gone. But anyway, he also then fitted it with a Ford racing motor. And then now you'll see this next picture. This is Jason on the cover of Muscle Mustangs and Fast Fords as the cover car. So Jason, congratulations. That thing looks wicked. I bet you it's super fast, probably 10, 11
And now that he's been on the cover, he'll be selling it in Barrett Jackson.
Right. Thank you for sending it in. If you have a picture that that you have pride in of your car, send it to me. Clor at carsandcontext.com. And we'll be sure to put it on the air. But there's even more. We have the very favorite segment of the show. This is when we ask WMTV's Lauren Parrott to come up and see if there's anything in the Cars and Context mailbag. Lauren, is there anything in our mailbag?
There's always stuff in the mail there.
Even if she has to make it up herself.
Well, thank you for bringing this up, Lauren. I appreciate you doing that. And these look like these, I don't know, these are tough questions. Lauren, she stayed up all night thinking of these. Chris, why don't you take the first one in case it's a
Okay.
tricky one?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
This one comes to us from Paul Z. of Grosse Pointe Farms, who watches Cars and Context on Comcast Cable Channel 915. So he's in HD. Dear Chris, I know you're a diesel fan from watching the show.
Oh, that's right.
At
Yeah.
least somebody's watching. I have a friend who works at the Downriver Marathon Oil Refinery off I-75, and he tells me that diesel fuel is actually a byproduct from the gasoline refining process. If that's so,
Is it?
yeah, how come it, well, let me answer the damn- How come it costs so much more than unleaded gas?
Hey, wait a minute. If it's a byproduct, why?
No, it's actually not a byproduct. What happens is when you have to crack fuel. It's a thermolytic
Well, Jenny
and chemical
cracked corn.
process, and I don't care. It's a thermolytic and chemical process, and when you crack it the first time,
Okay.
you get diesel fuel, which is 24% of the fuel coming off, 24% of the product coming off, and the rest of it
Yeah.
has to be cracked again to
Again.
turn it into gasoline.
Okay.
And you can crack the diesel again to turn it into gasoline if you wish.
Mm-hmm.
So 24% of the fuel that's out there,
All right.
or out of the oil, is
So it's- right,
diesel.
diesel.
The reason it's so expensive,
Yeah.
ask your congressman, ask your state senator, ask all those guys. Michigan and most other states instituted a 75% per gallon tax
crazy.
on diesel because they figured, hey, it was only being used by truckers and they just drive through, so they can't vote.
Oh, Chris, don't you love what the Congress thinks of?
Yes,
I just
there
love
is
it.
no professional
Well,
criminal
Paul, that was
class.
a great, Paul, really, that's a great question, and we appreciate you sending that. That's a really good question. I knew you'd have the answer for it, but here's one I probably won't have an answer for. This one comes to us from Sandy L. of Grosse Pointe Woods, who watches Cars and Context on AT&T Uverse, Channel 99.
So do I.
Oh, well, there you go. It says, Dear John, Sandy, so our legislatures in Lansing are now trying to raise our taxes to pay for road repairs, but no one is asking them what they did with the gas tax money we've been giving them for 20 years to maintain our roads. Why? Why is no one asking them what they did with the money? Oh, that's Sandy, thank you for sending that in. Apparently, that is the key question of all. It's like this, Sandy. Let's try to put this in context, okay? Sandy, it's like lawmakers are alcoholics. They're functional alcoholics. So they're going to work and they're supposed to spend their money on things like paying the bills, but they spend their money going to the bar and then they waste it, right? So we've given them money for 20 years to fix the roads. They go, look at all this money, and the roads are okay, so let's spend it on something else. So they put it in the general fund.
To buy votes.
And they bought votes, and they bought
Yep.
stuff, and they give it to the schools, or give it to, buy free lunches for people. And then all of a sudden, the roads they haven't fixed in 20, 30 years, oh, we're out of money. And they go, hey, give me some cash. So they're at the side of the road with a little sign, we'll tax for money. That's what's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Your lawmakers ripped you off, and they spent your money to fix the roads on other stuff that they didn't have any business doing. I say, hold them all accountable. They all now have to pay us back.
Oh, yeah, like that's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, they stole your money, folks.
We're
That's-
talking politicians, the only professional criminal class in this country.
That is the problem with the whole gas tax and the whole road repair issue that's going on now. They stole your money, and that's why we're here on Cars and Context to bring that to bear. No one's saying it
Just
except
makes-
right here. And that's why, Chris, we're out of time.
No, we're out of time because we talked too long.
Okay. I thought we're out of time because we brought so many things into context. That's what the sign says, at least. Okay, so Chris Bethea, thanks for coming on. I'm glad. I can't wait to hear all the responses to you just throw those Molotovs out there. Thanks so much. And folks, if you want to hear the rest of what Chris has to say, he's on thevirtualdriver.com. And remember that our motto here at Cars and Context is that knowledge is power. So until next time, I'm your host, John Clor. Thanks for watching.